Welcome back, everyone. I hope you're all doing well. For those of you new here today, my name's Marina and I help people to recover from narcissist love abuse. So today I'm going to look at some signs that you are trauma bonded to a narcissist, an ex-narcissist, possibly even someone who's in your life right now. So when we start to look at trauma bonding, what we are saying is that the person who actually inflicted the trauma upon us, because of the need, it was such a shock, and so we will go into certain type of trauma responses. Now, one may be a collapse and submit. Another one may be the fawn response, where we start overdoing, people pleasing. Another one may be that we feel highly anxious, and so then we may stay away from the person. We can even become angry about certain things that's occurred. But one thing for certain is that it has this pull on us, and it brings us back to the perpetrator, to the very person who inflicted that pain upon us. So trauma is a powerful way to bond with a person. Now, what happens, of course, is because you are trauma bonded, you then start to accept crumbs, crumbs of attention, crumbs of affection. You may start to ignore certain types of their behaviors, because if you didn't ignore it, you would have to confront things head on. Now here it is. They don't give you validation for your thoughts or your feelings, and this is when that reactory anger can come out. Or at first you think, I'll just stay quiet because I really want them in my life. So some of the signs that trauma bonding is occurring is that you have this repetition compulsion. So it just keeps on going, ruminating thoughts. You think the same thing again and again and again, and it's about that person, right? The very person who hurt you. You may start to think about, how do I help this relationship? How do I make this relationship work? Maybe I need to be a bit nicer. Maybe I need to shut up more. Maybe I need to talk more. Maybe I need to give them more space. Another sign that you're trauma bonded to the ex-narcissist, or to a narcissist, does not only need to be in a romantic situation, is that you have this feeling something's not right. Either they're not sharing everything with you, but it makes you suspicious, hence all of the checking phones, right? Because there's this very strong pull towards the phone, because that's where you're obviously going to find some information out. And if you do check the phones and if there's nothing there, then it's still there in the back of your mind. Or if they've cheated on you once, or if you found them on a dating site, that feeling never goes away. Another sign that you're trauma bonded to a person is that you have what we refer to as repetition compulsion. That means that you keep repeating the same types of behavior because you're wanting to get the desired outcome. So now you know this person has not listened to you in the past. You know that they've hurt you. You know that they ignored you and everything else, but you still will go back, right, in order to have that relationship. Possibly it's back to the that honeymoon period. So it's doing the same things again with the person who has hurt you, and you're wanting a different result. You're wanting the desired result. You're wanting to be able to sit down, everyone hears each other, or you talk about your needs, they may talk about theirs. But whatever it is, it's based on this need to have your needs met. Now, if your needs were not met in childhood, if your needs were not validated, you may have experienced some type of abuse, or whatever has occurred, then this need for validation can actually be stronger, and sadly you could be actually going after the same sort of people, same type of people who ignored you initially. Another sign that you're trauma bonded to a person is that you'll pick up the phone and you'll call them and you say, why did I do that for? She's ignored me. How much, for how long? Why am I wanting to call her again? And you almost get like this sting of rejection that goes through your body. Another thing that may also occur when you're trauma bonded to someone is that you will just write these long texts because you're trying to get them to understand your point of view. Some other signs that you're trauma bonded are that you may start to even isolate yourself. So you'll start to spend more and more time by yourself. So if you have had a breakup, if you haven't been dating for a long time, it can actually be there as a way to protect you. Now you're doing this subconsciously, of course, but it's almost like the memory says, subconsciously, I can't get close to another person because it's going to hurt. So then isolation starts to become the best remedy, or so people believe, but it's doing that deep dive and doing that healing. It's important that we remember, even when you have a healed trauma, you've attended to it, and the memory fades, right? The emotions are fading. That's the most important thing, because a memory's a memory, right? But it's when the emotions attached to that memory, that's what jolts, that's the trigger. But as your emotions start healing and the memory starts fading, right, you have to almost go into the distant past to find it. However, right, we never completely lose that memory because it's there to protect us. So if you are going to now meet someone who has similar energy, then this is when it jolts you again. Now, of course, we need to be very careful, because with this trauma bonding, sometimes it may not actually be that the person, has ill intention or not, but it may be that we're remembering something. Like, for instance, if they don't call back, or if they wait a couple of days, it may make you remember, right, another previous trauma, so you could have the same response. So we need to be careful. The most important thing is that emotions are not direction to go. It's best to pause, reflect, and actually start to take the whole thing into account. So with trauma bonding, as I said, and research shows us this, so this is scientific, right, that when something is available to us all the time, we don't have that anxiety. We don't even really think about it that much. But it's when it's intermittent, right? So it's there sometimes, then it's gone. There sometimes, then it's gone. A bit like a poking machine, you think that, I've won something. Oh, let's do it again. Oh, and there's another hit. And then you keep going, and it can be a big dry spell. But you see, you never know when you're going to get the next hit. Now, I do write about that in my book, Dangerous Liaisons. So these trauma bonded relationships is that intermittent response we get back. Because if they gave us none at all, then you wouldn't even go there. But it's not knowing when your needs are going to be met. Now, if you're on your healing journey, I want you to start to pay close attention to how you feel, and not to ignore your feelings, right, but possibly to write them down. How's this person treating me? Does this feel right to me? The other sad thing that happens is that if we've invested a large portion of our time, possibly financially as well, possibly you've made some big goals, maybe there's a lot of financial enmeshment, meaning that, you bought properties together, or you booked a really expensive holiday together, it can almost seem impossible to you know, not want to take steps to rectify things. Of course, we always want to rectify things first of all. So it is important you start to say, is this relationship good for me, or have I been accepting things that really are not helpful? And remember, it takes two people to work in and on the relationship. All right, I hope that today's helped. Take lots of care, and I'll talk to you again soon. Bye for now.